Good morning and welcome to morning meditation. We're starting Proverbs chapter 22. A good name is rather to be chosen than great riches, and loving favor rather than silver and gold. The rich and the poor meet together, the Lord is the maker of them all. A prudent man foreseeth evil and hideth himself, but the simple pass on and are punished. By humility and fear of the Lord are riches, honor, and life. And so often we can get that turned around and think, well, if I go to church, I'm going to find riches, honor, and life. No, if we walk with God, we're going to find spiritual riches. That's what it's talking about in verse 1 when it says a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches and loving favor rather than silver and gold. We need to understand as a Christian the most valuable thing that we have is our time, a great gift that God has given to us. And we can invest it in eternity, or we can invest it in wasting time down here. Now, I'm not saying that everybody needs to be a pastor, a missionary, a pastor's wife, a missionary's wife, but I am saying that all of us need to put value on the things God puts value on, and not value so much the things God doesn't value. When you get to heaven, God's not going to ask you what kind of a car you drove, what house you lived in, whether you were popular with the city or the state or the people around you. He's going to ask you one thing. Did you invest wisely the gift I gave you of life? Boy, I hope we do that. What a blessing it'll be to get to heaven and run into so many people that have invested their lives wisely. I think of Daniel in the Bible, invested his life wisely. I think of David, invested his life wisely. I think of Abraham, Moses. Were they all perfect men? No, Moses had a temper. David blew it a couple of times. His children didn't turn out right. Joseph and Samuel, all did turn out right. Doesn't mean we're going to be perfect, but what it does mean is when we invest in God's business, He gets interested in our business. So many churches today are teaching all these formulas to get God to make you rich. That is ridiculous. God gives riches to those He knows He can trust in with it. But I also want you to realize that Satan can make sure that you do come by riches if it'll keep you from serving God. So let's be careful not to equate wisdom, blessing, and honor from God with earthly riches. What we're talking about are heavenly riches. We're talking about being able to love your enemies truly and justly. We're talking about being able to witness for the Lord. We're talking about spending your time serving God. I am so thankful beyond description for the people that invest in Pioneer Valley Baptist Church. I'm talking about coming up here and putting their time in cleaning the building, watering the plants, mowing the lawns. Boy, that's just as important as the work I do as the pastor. And I know God's going to bless them for that. Those of us that are a little bit older, and even those older than myself, you can invest your time wisely in prayer, praying for the church members, praying for people's health, praying for people's blessing, praying for people's spiritual walk. Boy, God wants to give us honor, riches, and life, but it's going to be done His way and not our way. When we get to the end of our life, my hope is for every attender and member of Pioneer Valley Baptist Church is to be able to look back and say, I invested my life wisely. The fear of the Lord. Think about that. That's not some cowering fear. That is an awesome respect for a holy God. I hope you take a few moments today, think about these words, mull over Proverbs chapter 22 and decide that you desire a good name and loving spiritual riches. God bless you and have a good day.